It's 7 p.m. I'm going to call the meeting of the regular Common Council of the City of Port Jervis, January 12, 2015. Leading us in the pledge tonight are Jack Decker and Justin Meerdink of Troop 68.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Pretty interesting. When my father started this, my oldest was just able to be a scout to do the pledge. And that's my youngest, now just getting ready to get out. I'm going to open the public hearing of local law number 1 of 2015 first. This is to repeal the tax cap override of local law number 10 of 2014. We did not go over the tax cap, so we have to repeal that law that we created in 2014. If there's anybody that would like to speak, please come up to the podium, state your name and where you're from. This is specifically for the public hearing. Not hearing any, I'd like to have a motion to close the public. Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Belcher to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye. What is this for? Anything?
No, not yet. Just the tax cap override.
Go over it? No.
We're abolishing that tax cap override that we had for 2014. We didn't go over it.
Last year the law was adopted to override the tax cap. The city didn't go over the tax cap. So in order for the residents to get potentially their refund back, we have to repeal that law for the state. So that's what we're doing this evening.
So it's not to go over it this year?
No.
It's to stay under it?
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We'll start with our youth report. Mr. Michael Conklin.
Good evening. The Port Jervis High School Guidance Department has released the January 2015 schedule of Regents and local exams. Be sure to mark your calendar with these important dates. These will take place from January 26th to the 29th. Please check with guidance for specific testing times and dates. The Yankee Doodle Circus will be at the Port Jervis High School Friday, February 6th. Come out to enjoy the fun and support the junior class. At the middle school, Mrs. Weeble and Mr. Kennington's class got to fly the Port Pride Penguin flag flown at the Adélie Penguin Breeding Colony in Cape Royds, Antarctica. Cape Royds invited schools to submit flags representing penguins over Antarctica with their school logo. The flag was flown this December near the expedition hut. After the flag is signed by all the members of the expedition team, it will be returned to the Port Jervis Middle School. ASK and HB are excited to celebrate No Name Calling Week, January 23rd and the 19th. Along with schools all over the United States, No Name Calling Week is an annual week aimed at ending name calling of all kinds and fostering dialogue about ways to eliminate bullying in our community. HB's Family Fun Night will be on Friday, January 30th. They will be showing the movie Frozen. Showtime is 6 p.m. and there will be a bake sale for snacks. Admission is $3 for children and free for adults. Elsa will also be there making an appearance. You can get your picture taken with her for $2 a person. ASK is turning back time to celebrate the 80th day of school. Get your best 80s clothing together for Monday, January 26th. Also, congratulations to the ASK Performing Arts Club for their amazingly successful Breakfast with the Characters of Beauty and the Beast Jr. last Saturday, January 10th. It was an amazing event that received huge community support. Join them at the performances on January 23rd at 7 p.m. and January 24th at 2 and 7 p.m. The Port Jervis Recreation Department's youth basketball program is doing great. The first night game will be held this Wednesday night at the ASK Gym. Tuesday, January 13th at 7:30 p.m. in the high school cafeteria, the next Board of Education meeting will be held. And finally, there will not be any school on Monday, January 19th in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Mr. Siegel, do we have a senior report?
No, we do not.
And Mr. Belcher is going to report on veterans.
Yeah, yesterday the Tri-State Naval Ship VFW 7241 and their Ladies Auxiliary held their awards ceremony for the Patriotic Pen and Voice of Democracy Essay Contest they had a lot more entries than they've had in previous years. And the winners in the Voice of Democracy were, first place was Allison G. Buzelli, second place Robert Cow, third place Alexandria Phelan, and fourth place Nicole Camorzi. In the Patriotic Pen, seventh grade winners were first place Olivia Stanzel, second place Elizabeth Van Horn, and third place Angelina Fall-Drusa. Eighth grade winners were first place Bethany L. Reinhardt, second place Emma Corgill, and third place Todd Pfister. We want to offer our congratulations to all the winners. And the John Pagano was the did the VOD essay winners, and Stephanie Mobley of the Ladies Auxiliary did the Patriotic Pen essay winners. And I think that the whole thing was a great thing for the kids, and it made the subject of the essays was what do veterans mean to me, and it made all the kids aware of just what the veterans do. Thank you, Mr. Picker.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was myself, Mr. Siegel, and Mr. Belcher attended, and it was definitely a few of the kids, really some of the phrases, also being veterans, some of the things that they talked about were really moving. And even George had said, you know, some of these words were pretty powerful to me, and they were also to me. And at such a young age, there's a boy there that won in 8th grade. I told him, I said, I was just really blown away by his speech. And the presentations, some of these kids don't get up to public speak often, and they got in front of their peers, in front of their parents, in front of their family, in front of strangers to do these presentations. So they all did a great job. Thank you. Next up is public comment. Anybody can speak about any subject. They have a 5-minute limit. Please come to the podium, state your name and the address that you live in. If you don't live in the city, or not your address, but the ward that you live in, and if you don't live in the city, where you live. Anyone?
My name is Margaret Calvin, and my address is 123 North Orange, but we also own the house at 39 Glass Street. And my question is about the storage fee. What about the residents of the city of Port Jervis that aren't on the city storage system? Do you think it's legal to charge somebody a fee for something that they don't get?
What we need, and it's a simple answer, all we need you to do is go to the city clerk's office. There's an affidavit that you sign, and you won't be charged with it. If you do not, if you're not hooked up to it, you won't be charged for it.
A fee of $54.
You did, because the way the billing's set up is it automatically billed to every residence, every business.
I thought senior citizens were supposed to only be paying $6.
Anybody that's a star, enhanced star, they're the seniors that are on enhanced star.
Unfortunately, this year we don't, because to be able to get the house on Glass Street, we had to sell my house to be able to buy that one. So they're saying, oh, you have a lot of money, but you don't. Also, the water this year was absolutely terrible. For several months, I mean, into October, there was times that the water wasn't fit for water in your lawn, and that's about the only thing it was fit for. And I called several times to complain about it. Water was really disgusting.
Our DPW is working to address that issue. Hopefully, we're going to be resolving it within the next year.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Judith Opelt, 4th Ward. I have another issue, but right now, Mayor Decker, you said anybody on the Enhanced Star program gets the reduction. What is the reduction fee?
$6 a month.
$6 a month rather than $18.
I am on the Enhanced Star. My bill was $18.
That's correct.
That's
$6 a month for 3 months.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you weren't, you would have been $54.
just asking, because all I've heard all along was the $6. I didn't realize it was for each month. Okay. I would like you to address the, I don't know if it's a rumor or what's going on, about Engine 6 being closed down after the first of the year. My son took a new member of Engine 6 to get his pager, and my son and this new member was told he won't need a pager because after the first of the year, Engine 6 was going to be closed down.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's after the first, and Engine 6 is still there, and I'm a member.
Right.
You know anything about it?
Who made that statement?
Who made the statement?
I'm sure the chief or anyone that's a member of any fire department knows who has the pagers and who gives them out.
Well, we'll have the chief address that because it's not true.
Okay, because I know there's someone that has been wanting Engine 6 closed down since I was on the council under your father. And I'm telling you right now that I will do everything in my power and possible to see that Engine 6 is not closed down, not because my son's a member, but because it's across the river. And I'm sure Mr. Bell, who is my age or a little older, well, we went to school together. And, okay, Frank, Mr. Bell and I go back a long ways. I'm sure we remember the flood of 55 and all the other floods. And we need a truck on that side of the river for the people in that area when things happen. So I just want to bring that to your attention.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Anyone else?
Carol Zalek, and I live on Main Street. I believe it's the 3rd Ward. And I actually have 3 really quick things. I agree with the First Lady. The water was absolutely atrocious this year. That's number 1. Number 2, with the weather the way it is, it seems like the 3rd Ward is like the forgotten zone. Like driving down here, all these roads are perfectly clear blacktop. You go down to Ryan Street or Main Street, you just see ice. It's just a solid sheet of ice. The dirt truck goes by, he speeds by, drops a little bit of dirt, and that's the last you see of them. So we're the last people to be addressed for anything when it comes to weather related. The second thing is also the sewer fee. How were we know it? I mean, I didn't know we were going to have a sewer fee. When I got my bill in the mail, I had a call, and they said, well, it was in the newspaper. Well, I don't get the newspaper. I don't read the newspaper. So how were we supposed to know? And was there ever a vote on, how did this whole thing come about, and how were the residents supposed to know? Until some people, live on a tight budget, and $54 4 times a year is going to be hard for some people who aren't on the Enhanced Start program or anything. So I was a little perturbed about that whole thing. So I'm not sure how that whole thing happened.
I'll just give you a quick answer on that. It was in the paper, in both papers, actually 3 papers that are here. I do a radio show every Saturday morning. It was on the radio show. It's also on the internet. It was on our website. It was also on our Facebook page.
So we as residents, we have to search for that instead of us just getting a little friendly reminder in the mail. Hey,
well, again, a lot of people complain about the money that's spent, and when we send out even a postcard, that's additional money that we're spending. But it's to 5,000 homes. It becomes expensive.
This is my first town city hall meeting, so I'll be coming to more so that I can be more informed about that. And then my third pet peeve, I know we're on a time limit. I'm assuming Main Street is in a residential area, and you all know that there is a transit or dumping station, whatever you want to call it, that runs on Canal Street. When I bought my house there 7.5 years ago, the hours were posted the same as they are posted today, but that place operates 24/7. 24/7, and it's not just city workers that use it. There are over 100 people in this town, maybe that have keys to that. People that come in with their household garbage, landscaping trucks. Whenever I called a couple of years ago, well, what kind of truck is it? Did you get their plate? That's not my job to monitor the dump up there. I've called Mr. Decker. I've called your office 2 times, and I've never gotten a response from anybody. I mean, my backyard is right there, and to be waking up it could be any day of the year, any time of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and to be woken up by trucks coming in and out, and that loud gate that they open up just scrapes against that blacktop. You try to have a nice summer brunch or something outside of your back, and you can't because you constantly have traffic going back and forth. And the answer I get is, well, the city can operate it whenever they want because the city owns it. They own it for when there's floods or when there's bad weather because that's where the sand and the salt is kept. Well, that's okay, I can live with that, but I can't live with the other 100 and something people that feel that they can go, if I want to go up there, I have to pay a fee to go up there to dump. So why do other people have keys that can go up there 24/7? It should be operating hours. If it's a residential area, shouldn't it be ran in those hours that are posted?
I'll definitely look into that. And as far as my office not getting back to you, I apologize for that. I wasn't aware, otherwise I would have called you right back. But I will get in touch with you.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been an ongoing problem. Everybody says, don't say. Well, I'm going to say something because I pay taxes. Like
there's also private property that's up there. Even though our gate is right at Canal Street, there's additional private pieces of property that are up there that private people own.
Right, but to go, they have a key and go
Yeah, they have to.
24/7. I
They
mean, how
have
would you
to.
like that in your backyard?
They have to.
You know,
It's private property.
But it doesn't say that on the sign. You know what I mean? It doesn't say, when I bought my house, I bought it because I thought it was operating those hours, and now, 24/7. It's not fair to me and everybody else that lives in that area.
But we'll look more into it.
If I might add, all the laws, all the changes to codes, all the fee changes are all brought up and discussed at the Codes and Legislative Committee meeting, which meets on the first Wednesday of every month. And they're brought up for several months. We don't just bring it up last Wednesday and then vote on it this Monday. We keep inviting people to come to Codes and Legislative meetings because there is a lot of work that goes on there, a lot of things that go on there. The newspaper often is not there, so they don't know about as we start talking about it in the very beginning. So we're trying to encourage people to come. It's the first Wednesday of every month, and as I said, we discuss everything at length before we make any decisions.
It's the first Wednesday of every month here.
Right here, yes, at 7 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not hearing from anyone else? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Barry Calvin, and I just want to bring up I'm proud to be a resident of this town, and it's really not like it used to be, and it's kind of disappointed because this town really needs. We talk about revitalizing the town, but it's not. We used to have theaters here. We used to have entertainment. And we used to be, my mom and dad and I, we used to sit downtown, we would shop downtown, especially during Christmas. It was really exciting at one time with the hardware store and the dress shops and 5 and 10, the Newberries and that. And it's just not like it used to be. There's so many stores that are vacant now. And I just hope that, well, first of all, we need entertainment for like on a Friday or Saturday for our seniors, for everybody that enjoys music. I play banjo, and I like to be able to entertain the people and children of this town. I thank you for the opportunity to play fall foliage, but I'm looking for a piano player, and I would like to form a little band, just to entertain people and children. But aside from this, we need a community center in this town. We really do. And that building, at one time it was nice, the Farnham House, but I think, that would be I really don't know any other open land in Port Jervis for a community center, only there. And even though it's a historical building, I think it could be a nice place for people to, they have the stage there for the summertime, but for year-round, for people to get together, especially seniors. In order for seniors to get together, they have to go maybe to Matamoros at the over there. My mom used to go there for the cards, but and so then, but like, this is two things I really like to see in town. A community center for people, especially for our seniors. And for anybody who wants to get together and hear music, we need entertainment. So another thing, at my mom and dad's house, I was about 10 years old when my dad and Grandpa were building the house, on Glass Street, 39 Glass Street. And I'm very proud, the house they built. My grandpa built a house in 36 on North One Street, so that's where we live now, but we own both houses. And I was wondering about the brook, the brook there that runs from Canal Street, and that used to be an open there from where it comes out of Canal, and it used to be open, but they filled it in and now, but we still have an open brook, and it's really a mess. And I'm concerned about my dad's wall. My grandpa built that house on 39 Glass Street when I was about 10, and I used to watch my dad. My dad, after working hard during the day, making about $2 an hour, my grandpa and dad, and working on their house, and working on other jobs, he would go down by the brook with a drop light. He would work with a cement mixer. One man, he built that wall from Walt's garage, where Mr. Quick used to live, to the brook, from the brook to the bridge. Before the bridge was there, he did that all by hand. He put the footing in the brook by hand with cement, bags of cement, not with a trough.
Mr. Calton, we are working on that. That was actually something that Mr. Farr and I have already instituted for this year. And we are too. We have FEMA. We've been waiting patiently for them. They haven't responded, so we're putting together a plan for us to work on it.
Because that wall kicks out and it goes in a brook.
We understand. We understand that. And as far as a community center, that's something that's in the works also. Okay.
But you can imagine one person building that wall. I mean, it's just incredible with the work that our grandparents did years ago. And my dad put in it. He would feel very bad that it's not. So I'm just wondering when it's going to be done. Because it should be a big, huge culvert like under Canal Street, and it should be actually filled in.
Right, and we've talked about that.
Yeah, well, I just hope they don't restore it. It's not what it needs. It needs to be filled in, because so you don't see that.
Well, we'll have I don't know anything about engineering. We'll have engineers do all that. Okay.
It's a mess.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not hearing any. We move on to approval of the minutes of. Are we doing both meetings? December 8th and December. Anybody got the date on that? December 22nd. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes on the 22nd? December 22nd. Motion by Mr. Belcher, second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And the first December meeting, right? December 8th. Motion to approve the December 8th minutes. Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Ritchie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. Committee reports. Mr. Bell, Finance and Insurance.
Thank you, Mayor. We have some bills to pay. Some of the larger bills in the General Water Fund, Frontier Communications for city phone lines, $3,592.86. Commissioner of Finance for 2014 election costs, $18,550.28. Orange and Rockland Utilities, $33,446.55. Xerox Business Services, payroll, AP, AR, and software support, $21,294.70. From the Capital Fund, Island Tech, Fire Department computer equipment, $6,725. Recreation Engineering, whitewater permits, $1,825. Total from the General Fund, $271,612.54. From the Water Fund, $40,348.84. And from the Capital Fund, $9,065.17, for a total of $321,026.55. I make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Belcher to pay the bills, the capital, general, and water funds. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I have a request from our assessor, meetings and travel request. This is my annual request for approval to attend classes, seminars, meetings, and travel related to my position as assessor. I respectfully request permission to attend the annual New York State Assessors Education class held at Cornell July 12th through July 17th, 2015, and the annual fall conference held October 4th through October 7th, 2015. Expenses have been allocated in my budget. Also, permission to attend the Orange County Assessors Association meetings, New York State Assessors Association classes, trips to Orange County government offices, Office of the Real Property Services in Newburgh and Albany as needed. Related expenses have been appropriated in my budget line. I'll make a motion to approve those travels.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Wologroski to approve the assessors' seminars and travels for 2015. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I have a resolution to Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding travel approval request. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council recognizes the need for continued training of its staff, it is hereby resolved the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis approves the following training and travel for the Office of the City Clerk Treasurer. March 26th and 27th, GFOA Annual Conference in Albany, New York, and various regional trainings or necessary membership meetings as they arise throughout the year with costs not to exceed the amount in the 2015 budget. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Belcher, to approve a resolution of travel for the city clerk's office. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding newspapers, radio, and television. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized the need to maintain and/or establish accounts to conduct regular business, it is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis directs the City Clerk Treasurer to utilize the Times Herald Record as its official newspaper for the year 2015, with the Gazette and Pike County Dispatch as alternatives when necessitated, for legal notices, local laws, ordinances, advertisements for bids for materials, equipment, and services as may be required during the year 2015, and be it further resolved that WDLC be designated as the official radio outlet and Port Jervis Deer Park TV, also known as Access 23 TV, provided by Time Warner Cable under the present cable franchise agreement, be the designated television outlet. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Ritchie, to approve a resolution assigning newspaper, radio, and TV for the year of 2015. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding banking and depositories. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized the need to maintain and/or establish accounts to conduct regular business, it is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis directs the City Clerk Treasurer to utilize official depositories for the funds maintained in the checking and savings account of the City of Port Jervis for the year of 2015 as follows. TD Bank for general operating, water, capital, money market, recreation, industrial development agency, senior citizens / Ruggieri legacy account, urban development and action grant, payroll, Rachel Deach Memorial Fund, Small Cities Grant, and USDA Water Clarifier Reserve Funds. M&T Bank for Trust and Agency, Federal Drug Forfeiture, and City Drug Forfeiture Funds. And I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Belcher, for a resolution assigning banking and depositories for 2015. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis. Signature requirements for disbursements. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized the need to maintain and/or establish additional internal audit controls over the disbursement function of its regular business. It is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis directed the City Clerk Treasurer to notify official depositories of the requirement for dual signatures for disbursement of funds maintained in the checking and saving accounts of the City of Port Jervis effective April 1st, 2006. The requirement of dual signatures will be considered met by a combination of either the City Clerk Treasurer, Deputy Clerk Treasurer, or Chief of Police, and signature of either the Mayor, Councilman at Large, and/or Chairman of the Finance Committee. Other types of business transaction may be completed by the City Clerk Treasurer and/or the Deputy City Clerk Treasurer as necessary to conduct regular business and approved via the Finance Committee and Council proceedings. This requirement will be for the bank accounts as listed in the annual depository resolutions, with the exception of the accounts maintained on behalf of the fire department. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Ritchie to,
Just so everyone is aware, point of discussion, that this signature requirement is the first change that we've made since 2006, and it is to add the chief of police as an internal signator, and that is simply because we have had an extended vacancy in the position of deputy city clerk treasurer, and I would like to go on vacation from April, so I need somebody else internally to be able to sign.
We felt you were responsible.
by the way,
You're going to be on the signatories. I'm going to tell you that.
Till after she gets back.
a resolution to assign dual signatories on our accounts. So I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Ritchie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Your next meeting?
Next meeting is on Thursday, the 22nd, at 6 p.m. here in council chambers.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Walagrowski, Fire and Emergency Management.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to wrap up 2014 for the fire department from Chief Siglese. He gave us total alarms for 2014 was 438 calls. That's the first thing. Next, I have, dear Mayor Decker and members of the City Council, it's hereby requested that the below-named member of the Port Jervis Fire Department and company stated be removed from the active membership rolls effective this date. John P. McGowan, Tri-States Host Company number 6 for non-payment of dues. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walagrowski, a second by Mr. Bell, to remove a member of Hose 6 for non-payment of dues. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Dear Mayor Decker and members of City Council, as requested that the below-named firefighter be approved for interdepartment transfer as stated. George W. Padgett from Tri-State Host Company number 6 to Howard Wheat Engine Company number 4. Make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walagrowski, a second by Mr. Siegel, to approve a transfer from Tri-State Host Company number 6 to Howard Wheat Engine Company number 4. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Dear Mayor Decker and members of the City Council, as requested the below listed events be approved for the Port Jervis Fire Department and company stated. Never Sink Engine Company number 1. What I'll do is I'll read them all and then we'll prove them all at the end if we don't mind. For Never Sink Engine Company number 1, January 17th, Old Timers Night. February for CPR class. March, Spaghetti and Meatball Takeout. April for a 10-week club raffle. September 19th, attend the Middletown Parade. November, Spaghetti and Meatball Takeout. Wallington, New Jersey Christmas Parade. And for a date to be announced to have a burger bash for Rescue 3, Super Bowl party on the 1st, June 14th for a booth at the Soapbox Derby, May 9th the car wash, June 13th car wash, August 15th the car wash. For Engine 5, February 8th, Super Bowl party. Oh, they're going to be a little late for that, I think. I'll correct that for them, February 1st for the Super Bowl party.
They might be still partying on the 8th.
party.
April 3rd, Good Friday Pizza Takeout. May 16th, Old Timers Night. June 14th, Pizza and Funnel Cake Booth at the Soapbox Derby. August 1st, Sullivan County Parade. September 19th, Middletown Parade. September 27th, Pizza and Funnel Cake for the Fall Festival. December 20th, Kids Christmas Party at the Firehouse. For Engine 6, we have April 2nd, Gas Raffle. June 19th, the Golf Tournament. And September 3rd, a gas raffle. Port Jervis Fire Department, January 31st of this year, 8-hour OSHA at the high school cafeteria. That's all we have listed for those companies at this time. I make a motion we approve all the previously mentioned activities.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walagrowski, a second by Mr. Belcher to approve the events that were listed and stated of the Port Jervis Fire companies of the Department of Port Jervis. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Dear Mayors
Mayor and City Council for the Port Jervis Fire Department, 25-year and 50-year members for the month of January. Mahakama Hook and Ladder Company number 7, Joe Cole Sr., 43 years. Never Sink Engine Company number 1, Robert Barber, 43 years. Robert Long, 42 years. William McCann, 45 years. And Chief Jeff Rhodes, 29 years, which, by the way, we all say happy birthday to Chief Rhodes tonight. For Delaware Engine Company number 2, Michael Grodnick, 67 years. William Morgan, 43 years. For Rescue 3, Hank Roberts, 54 years. Joe Trotta, 53 years. Mike Rowley, 35 years. For Howard Weed Engine Company number 4, James Gill, 68 years. And for Excelsior Engine Company number 5, William Talmadge, 43 years. Tri-State Hose Company number 6, Charlie Ball, 44 years. Wally Martin, 43 years. Mayor Kelly Decker, 27 years. Dear Mayor Decker and members of the City Council, it's hereby requested that the below-named persons be approved for active membership in the Port Jervis Fire Department and company stated. Elizabeth Enright, Fowler Rescue and Salvage number 3. Daniel Howell, Tri-States Hose Company number 6. Andre Bell, Tri-States Hose Company number 6. The members of the Board of Officers of the Fire Department approved this application back in December and by the Firefighters Company stated on the application. To make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Wologroski, a second by Mr. Bell to approve the new members of the Port Jervis Fire Department. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And yes, next Monday is a holiday, but I'm asking that we have the Fire Department Fire and Emergency Management meeting here in the council room, 6 p.m. Those who can attend, please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wologroski. Mr. Siegel, Code and Legislative.
Thank you. Before I do that, I want to do a shout out to Mike in Georgia who watches this meeting via the internet all the time, and to Maria and Bill Mann who are on vacation and they're watching on the internet. And there's always a reason for why I do things, and the reason I did that is that I would like to attempt to put the Code Committee meetings on the internet and on Access 23 so that people that can't get here and don't read the paper or listen to the radio might have an opportunity to watch it or tape it on TV or on their computers. In order to do that, we need somebody to volunteer to be a cameraman. So if we have anybody that would like to camera person, if I'm always politically correct as noted, if somebody would be willing to do that. And meetings don't last too long. Usually they're done before 9 o'clock.
What?
Is that correct?
Not the code meeting.
I would graciously accept their help. Even more than one would be nice. But it would be nice to put that out there. But it's difficult to run the meeting and have the people participate and do the camera at the same time. So I put that out there. If anybody wants, they can call me at 856-6150. Or stansiegel2@gmail.com, or the mayor's office. Thank you. Now, the last Code and Legislative meeting was held on January 7th, right here at 7 p.m. I'd like a motion to accept the December minutes.
I have a motion by Mr. Siegel, a second by Mr. Barboza to approve the December meetings of the Code and Legislative. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So
Thank
carried.
you. And we firmed up quite a few topics at the last meeting, and they'll be forwarded to the Corporation Council to be put into local laws or whatever is necessary. Those agendas and minutes can be found on portjervisny.org, the city webpage. They also, if you don't get there, you can email me at stansiegel2@gmail.com. I'll email a copy of whatever you want back. Or if you call me, I can make other arrangements to get them to you. As I said earlier, it's very important that we have public input to all these laws and all these fees and all these changes. And at the next meeting, we'll be talking about some pretty big issues like the Humane Society and things like that. So participation either in person or via email or a letter would be appreciated. And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, we got old
There's
business,
still
new
new
business, that's what it is.
business, so.
When's the next meeting?
Next meeting, Stan.
Oh, the next meeting is February the 4th at 7 p.m. regular.
Thank you, sir. Public Works and Environmental Affairs, Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I'd like to do is to just kind of review our last DPW meeting that was held on December 15th. Some of the things that were discussed were the water clarifier project, which is taking place at our water plant at this time. We also discussed the Jersey Avenue East Main Street traffic light at the top of the hill. A discussion about the DEC consent order in Wagner Place. There's also a discussion dealing with the demolition of buildings on Gordon Street and East Main Street. We also discussed the storm line repair on Pennsylvania Avenue and the cleaning of the lines on Barcelona Street. And the last thing that we brought up at the meeting was a discussion on the Orange County Hazard Litigation Mitigation Plan meeting, which is coming up. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the December meeting at this time.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cunningham to approve the minutes of the DPW meeting, a second by Mr. Bell. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Little update right now on Public Works, garbage and recycling will be on normal schedule this week, but next week, due to the Martin Luther King holiday, garbage and recycling will be 1 day late in all wards. And the 4th ward will have paper and cardboard will be done on Friday, the 23rd of January. Just a reminder that the city's compost pile and burning pile will only be open on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of each month. So for the month of January, it was already open on the 10th, and it will also be open on the Saturday, the 24th. At this time, winter parking rules are back in effect for the winter months. The ruling states there will be no overnight parking on any city streets from the hours of 1 a.m. through 6 a.m. from December 1st through April 1st. So please get your car off the road from 1 to 6 in the morning. Christmas trees will continue to be picked up when time permits. Please put them out at the curbside and they will be removed by the DPW. Our next DPW meeting will be held tomorrow night here in the council chambers at 6 p.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Police Committee, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. The committee met on Monday, January 5th. You all received a copy of the December 2014 monthly report, and I motion to accept it at this time.
Second. I have a motion to approve the December monthly report by Mr. Hendrick, second by Mr. Bell. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
The Port Jervis Humane Society, represented by 3 board members, attended and discussed proposed changes to the 2015 contract between the city and the Humane Society that governs the acceptance of animals brought to the shelter by the city animal control and police department. The society board members and members of the police committee provided an exchange of the information, including question and answers pertaining to the proposed changes. Although committee members tentatively agreed to the changes, I'll request an executive session under new business to review the contract with all council members. The next police committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, February 2nd, 6:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. That's all I have on that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. On to liaisons, CDA, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. The CDA last met on December 17th. There are 2 new grant opportunities that need application by the end of next month. The Housing Trust Fund Corporation and the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation announced the availability of approximately $38.4 million of state and federal funds for the following programs: $25 million for the HC Affordable Home Ownership Development Program, and $10 million for the New York State Community Development Block Grant Funding for housing activities. The first, the HC Affordable Home Ownership Development Program, includes the acquisition and rehabilitation of owner-occupied homes for sale, including 1 to 4 family homes, and also home improvements to existing owner-occupied 1 to 4 family homes. In the event the homes are to be located in a mixed-use structure, then any costs associated with the non-residential uses are ineligible costs. 2014 maximum award is $35,000 per unit, and applications are due February 13th, 2015. The second, the New York State Community Development Block Grant Program, includes CDBG housing activities, and these funds are available for housing projects. Activities include rehabilitation and home ownership that primarily benefit low to moderate income persons. And the 2014 maximum funding for the CDBG housing activities for cities is $400,000. Applications for this program are due February 27th, 2015. Ms. Majinski is here to answer any specific questions with regards to these applications. For the Community Development Block Grant, a public hearing is necessary. So at this time, I'll motion that a public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Program be scheduled prior to the next council meeting on January 26th at 7 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hendrick, a second by Mr. Belcher, to set a public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant before our next council meeting on January 26th. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And then I'd like to introduce two resolutions for approval of filing the applications on behalf of the city. And the first is the resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding the approval of filing of an application of the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation Office of Community Renewal Affordable Home Ownership Development Program for 2013-14 acquisition and rehabilitation. Whereas the City of Port Jervis is submitting an application with the New York State Housing Corporation Office of Community Renewal for home ownership, acquisition, and rehabilitation due no later than February 13, 2015 via hard copy. And whereas the City of Port Jervis Community Development Agency will perform and be compensated as subrecipient. And whereas the New York City AHC's program goals are to, I quote, to promote home ownership among families of low and moderate income for whom there are few affordable home ownership alternatives in the private market, and to quote, and to stimulate the development, stabilization, and preservation of New York communities. And whereas the subject acquisition and rehabilitation will be limited to 1 to 4 unit owner-occupied dwellings by program designation, income-eligible families with a maximum unit grant assistance of $40,000 per unit in program-eligible locations within the City of Port Jervis. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the mayor, as Chief Executive Officer, is hereby authorized and directed to file an application as directed to serve as the authorized representative of the City of Port Jervis, and the New York State Office of Community Renewal is hereby assured of full compliance by the City of Port Jervis with certification attached hereto and made a part hereof. Can I make that motion?
I have a motion by Mr. Hendrick, a second by Mr. Ritchie, for a resolution to approve the Affordable Home Development Program. Discussion? Just in this discussion, this is part of the steps that we need to take some of these homes that we have in the city, rehabilitate them, and be able to get people into those homes that actually will own the homes, so they will be homeowner occupied. He mentioned 1 to 4 units because we'll be doing it, and my push is for really single family homes. That's what they'll be developed as. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And the second, approval of the filing of an application for federal assistance under the New York State Community Development Block Grant Program administered by the Housing Trust Fund Corporation. Whereas the City of Port Jervis is eligible to apply for a maximum of $400,000 in federal financial assistance for housing rehabilitation, and whereas to secure financial assistance, it is necessary to send a New York State Community Development Block Grant application to the office via the online application system on or before February 27th. Whereas the city's CDBG program will provide funding assistance for housing rehabilitation of units, of which at least 70% will benefit low to moderate income persons, and whereas the Port Jervis Community Development Agency will perform and be compensated as sub-recipient. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor, as chief executive officer, is hereby authorized and directed as follows: to file an application as directed by the New York State Affordable Housing Corporation, to serve as the authorized representative of the city of Port Jervis, and the New York State Office of Community Renewal is hereby assured of full compliance by the city of Port Jervis. And I make that a motion.
This is a resolution for federal assistance housing rehabilitation to rehabilitate units up to 400,000. This is the federal assistance. Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion. Mr. Jinsky, can I just put you on the spot for a minute so people understand? Hopefully you have this answer. I think you do. Could you tell us what the low to moderate income housing income needs to be or is?
In Orange County, it would be 80% of the median income. And for a family of four, that is just about $66,000 a year.
So if you're of a family of four and we were able to start up one of these programs and you made $66,000, you would be eligible for one of these homes.
Yes. In the city of Port Jervis, approximately 66% of our residents are eligible for these programs.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's when people sometimes think, I make too much money to be able to afford this. And there's no age restriction, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Thank you. Did I make? I had the motion.
You had the motion. You need to call
okay.
the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
And again, there's a public hearing on that application prior to the next council meeting. And I thank the mayor for not asking me those questions. That's why we have Valerie here. And the next regular meeting of the CDA is January 28th at 7 p.m., second floor of the Pike Street Rec Center. And that's all I have on that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. IDA, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor. The IDEA has not met this year. We are scheduled to meet this Wednesday at 6 p.m. up in the council chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. ADA, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. The ADA met on September 18th. The next quarterly meeting was scheduled for December 11th, but due to conflicts, it wasn't held. We didn't have a quorum. It will be rescheduled for an undetermined date in January, announced at a later date. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Siegel, Housing Authority.
Thank you, Mayor. The last Housing Authority meeting was held on December 23rd. The only major bit of business is that the community room reservations I spoke about before were scheduled to start today. And the next meeting is January 27th at 7 p.m. at Hillside Terrace. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Woligrowski, Recreation Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Department is sponsoring 2 field trips this winter. Trip number 1 is a snow tubing trip at Fernwood Resort in Bushkill, PA. This is a great family trip and requires no experience. Just a love of tubing down the snowy hill. Cost for this trip, including transportation, would be $30 a person. The trip is scheduled for Thursday, January 22nd, which the bus is leaving Port Jervis at 4:45 p.m. You snow tube from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and return to Port Jervis approximately 9 p.m. For trip number 2, it's an indoor water park trip to Split Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. This is also a great family trip and fantastic way to beat the cold, at least for one day anyway. Cost for this trip, including transportation, is $42 a person. The trip is scheduled for Saturday, February 21st, and the bus will leave Port Jervis at 8:30 a.m. and return approximately 5 p.m. For more information on both of those trips, contact the Recreation Office at 858-4045 or email pjrec@frontiernet.net. The Recreation Department is sponsoring youth karate lessons this winter. We have set up registration for Saturday, January 10th, which was this past weekend, from 10 to 1, and January 12th through the 14th from 4 to 7 p.m. Registration will take place at Epsi's Tang Sudo Academy at 35 Front Street. Lessons will be held here as well. The cost is $50 and the program is for boys and girls ages 5 and up. The lessons start Tuesday, January 20th. The Recreation Department's 5th and 6th grade Youth Basketball League will start this Wednesday evening, January 14th at the ASK Gym. Games will be held 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. Games will be played every Wednesday until February 25th. The Youth Center will be open 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Monday, January 19th, and Martin Luther King Day. Those hours. Regular Youth Center hours are following: Monday through Thursday, 3 to 7, Friday, 3 to 6, Friday, teen night, 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. A reminder, if school is closed due to a weather or holiday, the Youth Center is open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The next Recreation Commission meeting is scheduled for this Thursday, January 15th at 7 p.m. at the Rec Center. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tourism, Mr. Belcher.
Yeah, the Tourism Board had a meeting on December the 17th, a combination holiday and short business meeting. Bill Schill handed out printouts of the idea that he came up with to have a Civil War reenactment, plus some sort of presentation on the Red Badge of Courage in Orange Square, and the Tourism Board fully supported this idea and had quite a discussion regarding it. Our next meeting will be tomorrow night at 6:30 in the downstairs conference room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ritchie, zoning.
Zoning Board. The Zoning Board met on January 6th. They had a public hearing for Mr. David Gove, 36 Hudson Street, regarding an extension of the 240-day vacancy for discontinuation of a pre-existing non-conforming use. Quite a discussion. Mr. Fink, the attorney, gave the board 3 choices to grant the variance, to go back before the planning board, or to grant an extension of the 240 days. The board voted to grant that extension for the 240 days, which means next time the building becomes vacant, this will go back to a one-family use. There seemed to be problems with communication and dates and times as to when these things were filed, and I believe that's why the board granted this extension the way that they did. They also asked if the code committee can look at some of these things, and we extended an invitation to the zoning board members to come to the code meeting, and one member showed up, and so it's back to the drawing board. I think what we really need to do, the mayor was here, and I believe we're trying to develop some kind of a checklist for all parties. This was discussed a couple of years ago, and modify it so that when everybody comes in front of the zoning board and planning board, they're ready to go, the board's ready to go, and we can be business friendly as a city, and hopefully people will start more projects. The next zoning board meeting will be February 3rd at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And planning board?
Planning board hasn't met yet this year, and we are scheduled to meet on January 20th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Siegel, plumbing board.
Thank you. The plumbing board did not meet in January. The next meeting of the plumbing board is February 4th at 6:30 p.m. right here in the council room. Electrical board did meet on January 7th. There was an application that was accepted. There was an exam that was requested. There was discussion about there's no reciprocation with Sullivan County. So they're looking into what the status of their permitting process is so that we can try to have some reciprocation there. And all licensed electricians are registered for this year. The next meeting is February 4th at 6:45 right here, just before the codes meeting at 7. So I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And senior advisory, Mr. Siegel?
Senior advisory, I met with the senior advisory representatives and residents, and there's nothing of significance to report. There are, however, some vacant apartments in Water's Edge, should anybody be looking for a senior apartment. They're very nice apartments and a very clean facility. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any Access 23 report?
Access 23, yes, we do.
I see we have the new president back here working the camera.
Oh, that's who the guy is under that hat there? So I better read it the way he said it, or?
I think you'll forgive me.
Okay. Mayor and City Council, the station has been up and running smoothly. We would like to thank you for the new heater, which works great. We have been cleaning and getting rid of excess equipment. There are many new members on board now, and new shows are in the works too. We could use a shot in the arm money-wise. As new president for 2015, I'll be glad to work with the mayor and the council as we grow. Obviously, that means being a cameraman as well, which is nice. Happy and safe New Year, stay warm, and God bless the USA, President Carl Richards. That's all I have on that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Under Mayor's correspondence and information update, a few things just to let everybody know. It did go out as a press release, but on Thursday, January 29th, I will give the State of the City address here in the council chambers. That's Thursday, January 29th. Mr. Belcher had mentioned Mr. Schill, and he is already in the works of putting this Civil War reenactment that will that potentially will be in the end of June. It's going to happen. Well, June 20th is the date. Yeah, I just didn't know if we firmed it up yet, but which will be up in the Orange Square Park, and then at the Presbyterian Church, he plans on having a whole reenactment with the Stephen Crane interviews to the Civil War vets. So it's something. June can end up being a very busy month for us, because not only will we have that, we have the soapbox derby. So it's going to be interesting summer. Just this past Saturday, myself, Mr. Ritchie, Mr. Hendrick, and Mr. Siegel, along with Valerie Majinski, went out to the Village of Warwick, and we were welcomed by the Village of Warwick mayor, and got to look and to understand some of their laws, some of their architectural review, and some of the things that we can implement here into the city that aren't too demanding, but that will help change some of the things around to bring back what Barry, what you remember, as most of us remember, a city once vibrant, and in not only in population but also in business. And it was really interesting to walk into downtown and to work, and how they work close with their town, how we're now working close with our town, and the new town supervisor has been here a few times already, Gary Spears from the town of Deer Park. They work with their town and understand that there's some businesses that go in the town, some businesses there that go in the village, or that would come here into the city. So so it was definitely a worthwhile trip. I think you guys can agree. We learned a lot from it, and we're going to take more with us and staying in contact with them. I also, with the chief, with the police chief, at the end of this month, beginning of February, we're going to be announcing an initiative. If you've noticed, most people notice either in the paper or on Facebook, our police are not letting up when it comes to people who break the law, especially if they deal with drugs. And we are not going to let up, and we are going to let them know that we're not going to stop. And this initiative with the district attorney's office is just going to be even greater. And I want to commend our police officers over the last couple of weeks, especially a few nights ago, that were able to work with the public. We had exactly what Mike McCarthy said. Thank you. Mike McCarthy said, if you see something, say something. And we're able to make these moves forward because of residents that are willing to just say, hey, they don't have to get involved in it. They don't have to be involved in it. They see something, they call the police, they say something, and the police affect the rest. And that's what we need. So thank you, Chief. Oh, you left already, huh? Okay. First, can I have a motion to pass local law number 1 of 2015? This is repealing local law number 10 of 2014. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Belcher. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. Just a reminder, if you plan on doing any type of renovation to your main structure of your house, or to put an addition onto the main structure of your house, please see our assessor, Yvonne Durier, and talk to her about the 421F, which is a tax exemption that we give locally, so that at first your addition, when you're reassessed after your addition's done, your assessment will stay what your original assessment was and will be a progressive increase to help you kind of offset the money that you spent in that addition. Just a reminder, on our website and in my office are both the business and residential contact forms. One of the issues that we do have is getting the word out, and what we would like to do is build a contact email and also a contact messaging system aside from the Nixle emergency alert, so that we can let residents know and businesses know what's going on in the city, as well as hopefully initiating a newsletter in this calendar year. Just a reminder, we're on that haunted trail for the state of New York. You might want to check it out. It's I think it's I Love New York, hauntedhistorytrail.com. Although they've got a lot of information and they're working towards, you've seen the hospital is actually in talks with Westchester Medical Center. They have gathered a lot of information on their survey. This survey is online on our website, also on their website. I think Mr. Siegel's even sent it out on his Facebook, correct? And it's just a very brief survey, but it helps them understand what our residents are looking for from our hospital. I have a letter to read dated December 16, 2014, Mayor Kelly Decker, Port Jervis Common Council. After much thought and discussion with my family, I have decided to retire from my position as lieutenant with the City of Port Jervis City Police Department. Effective December 31st, 2014, I am honored and grateful to have been afforded the opportunity to serve the City of Port Jervis and its residents to the best of my ability for the past 29 years as a patrolman, detective, sergeant, and lieutenant. I want to say that it has been a tremendous privilege to serve on the City of Port Jervis Police Department with the most honorable, courageous, and dedicated men and women I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. Furthermore, I could not ask for leadership with more integrity and character than that of Police Chief William Horton. Throughout my career, I have struggled both physically and mentally from incidences that were beyond my control. I truly do not know how my family and I would have weathered these ordeals were if it not for all the members of the Port Jervis Police Department. I will be eternally grateful for their never-ending kindness and caring. My family and I intend to stay in touch with all of them as we start this next chapter in my life. I will miss all my friends here, but believe this is the right time and best move for all of us. Again, thank you for your loyalty and dedication to duty. Sincerely, James Bislin, Port Jervis Police Department. I worked with Jim. Jim was he was a detective when I came in. He was my sergeant for many years, and you can't ask for a greater guy, a great family. And he realized it was his time to go, and he started a new chapter, as he said, in his life. And he's already retired. He retired December 31st, but this was the first chance that we had to read it in public. So I'd like to commend him for his service to the city, and we have a motion to accept this with regrets.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hendrick, a second by Mr. Cunningham. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We received a letter on December 18th from the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Committee supporting the Port Jervis Whitewater Park. Dear Mayor Decker, the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Incorporation is pleased to offer its support for the development of the proposed Whitewater Park on the basis of its potential to help stimulate the regional economy, enhance recreational opportunities, and improve river habitat. The UDSB committee appreciates hearing your detailed presentation, which provided an up-to-date on the project status at its November 24, 2014 monthly meeting, and voted unanimously to express this support. This support letter goes a long way because it's part of an environmental group for the Delaware, and it was attached to our permit, which will be going out very shortly. Mr. Belcher, you have a resolution you want to read?
Yes, I do. Orange and Rockland on November the 14th, announced rate increases for both electric and natural gas, and their rates are already among the highest in the United States. So I have a resolution I'd like to read, and at the end, make a motion to allow the city clerk treasurer to send this to the New York State Public Service Commission. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis, Orange County, New York, opposing the rate increases for electric and natural gas services requested by Orange and Rockland Utilities Incorporated. Whereas City of Port Jervis residents and businesses are serviced by Orange and Rockland Utilities Incorporated for electric and natural gas services, and whereas by a letter dated November 14, 2014, Orange and Rockland Utilities has requested rate increases for both electric and natural gas. Their rates are already among the highest in the United States. And whereas pursuant to Orange and Rockland's recent request to the New York State Public Service Commission, Orange and Rockland is attempting to obtain an increase for electric service, which will result in an overall customer bill increase of approximately 5.2%, and a natural gas service rate increase, which would result in an overall customer bill increase of approximately 16.8%. And whereas the residents and businesses within the city of Port Jervis are already struggling to pay the high rates that Orange and Rockland charges, which include incredibly high delivery charges for energy services. Now therefore, the Mayor and Common Council of the City of Port Jervis, Orange County, New York, urges the New York State Public Service Commission to deny these rate increases and to further take a look at the entire Orange and Rockland rate system in order to see if there is some way to provide relief to residents and businesses, not only in the City of Port Jervis, but throughout the entire Orange and Rockland region. A copy of this resolution, as adopted, shall be sent to the Honorable Kathleen H. Burgess, Secretary of the New York State Public Service Commission, immediately. I make a motion that we approve this and authorize our City Clerk Treasurer to sign and send it to the Public Service Commission.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Belcher, second was Mr. Bell. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you, Mr. Belcher. I have a letter from the Business Professional Women's Club requesting that they are holding their Tricky Tray Scholarship Fundraiser, which awards $21,000 in scholarships to our Port Jervis High School seniors to display the banners in the city as they normally do. If this is approved, I will contact Ms. Lash and advise her that of where we put them now, that we don't have them on the polls. But what's your pleasure?
So
Make a
moved.
motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Oney, a second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I have a letter from the Drew United Methodist Church. Dear Mayor and Council, please add to your agenda this request for the Drew United Methodist Church and the Salvation Army to conduct its Easter sunrise service on Point Peter, Easter Sunday, April 5th from 7:15 to 8 a.m. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I have a letter from the St. Mary's Little Lambs. Once again, they are requesting during the week of the young child, which is April 12th through the 18th, to have a march on Monday, April the 13th, 2015. This march would proceed on Church Street, approximately 10:15, and head to City Hall, and end at St. Mary's Little Lambs, 44 Ball Street. And if possible, the students would enter City Hall, meet the mayor, members of the Common Council, our police officers, and the city government employees. They did this last year and would like to do it again. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Hendrick, second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I received a Regis Foster, our chairman of the tourism board, received a letter from Debbie Schofield saying, "Dear Regis, I am sorry to have to tell you that I am resigning from the board effective immediately. I have overcommitted myself as a volunteer and have found myself immersed in several wonderful major events that happen around the same time. I have greatly enjoyed working with you and all the other members who care about and do so much for the city of Port Jervis. You and the members have every reason to be proud of this board. Best regards, Deborah Schofield." And I am sending a letter of regret, but do I have a motion to accept her resignation?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Walagrowski, second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I also received a letter. "Dear Mayor Decker, I am very much interested in being on the tourism board. I am involved in the community and volunteer in many organizations. I am presently serving on the ADA board. I am very enthusiastic in many ways that will help bring many new ideas to help our community grow in many positive ways. I would very much appreciate it if you would consider my interest in serving on the tourism board. If I can do anything else to help you out in any way, please feel free to contact me." Signed, Anne Marie Foster. And I would like to appoint Ms. Foster to the board, but the board is not limited to a certain amount of people. They do many wonderful things from the yard sale to the Fall Foliage Festival to the Chris Crindle Mart and the tree lighting and many other different things. So the more hands usually in volunteerism, the better off we are. And of course with the ideas too. So if you're interested, please contact my office and I'll hook you up with the Port Jervis Tourism Board.
The next thing will be Bill Schill's.
Oh, and Bill Schill's, yeah. And that might end up being an every year thing too,
That's
right?
right.
Okay. That's all that I have. City Clerk Treasurer's Report, Mrs. Wasnager.
Yes, I can tell you our office is in full swing with the 2015 Orange County tax collection, our water and sewer collection, and of course all other business as normal during January. I can tell you that our new audit firm started field work today. They're doing internal control work and testing. They are here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with us this week, and will be back to do the full audit the last week in March. A reminder to all committee heads, remember, your job isn't finished until the paperwork is done. So please make sure all your minutes get submitted to my office so that they can be posted on the website. Also, want you to know that I did utilize the services of Capital Markets to be able to do a full bidding for the $4 million bond anticipation note to fund the cash flows for the clarifier plant improvements that are happening this year. This bond is simply a temporary arrangement, 1 year in duration, and is just for cash flow purposes, as the permanent financing for the water treatment clarifier plant is through a USDA loan. The bids went out on previously. They were due back on January 9th. Through the result of the bidding, the low bidder was TD Securities, which is a subsidiary company, obviously related to TD Bank. They bid a coupon price of 1%, plus they rendered a premium of $14,680, which effectively lowers our net interest cost to 0.6330 on this borrowing.
Isn't that a nice rate?
Which is excellent. And just for your information, we did have 4 out of the 7 bidders bid a premium with their bid, which really is an indicator that our credit is considered very good in the bond market, and we did still maintain our Moody's A1 rating. So that is the result of the bidding, and as I already have authorization in previous resolutions, I will be finalizing that borrowing and doing the closing next week.
Good job, thank you. All business, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you. I'd like to get a loan for 0.6%.
That's all you got, Stan?
He's just getting more.
Oh, I can't beat the mayor, so you're all right, Frank. As Mr. Belcher, the mayor, indicated, we did go to the patriotic pen ceremony, and all I want to say about that is there were great essays, and it's glad to see our youth thinking about and honoring our veterans. Some of the guys that I know that are veterans think that they're forgotten souls. The young kids have not forgotten them, so it's really a warm feeling to have. Local law number 4 is in effect, so if you have a vacant, boarded up, or abandoned building, check with the buildings department and find out what your responsibilities are. We have begun aggressive enforcement of that law. That will enhance some of the beauty of Port Jervis through that law alone. If you have a fire hydrant in front of your home or near your home, please shovel it out so in the event of a fire, the fire department can access it quickly. Help us help you in the event of a fire. Fortunately, we have not gotten a lot of snow, but if last year's any indication, we will. If you have a neighbor that is unable or unwilling, please try to give them a hand. Fire department goes around and shovels out the hydrants that people don't do, but should there be a fire before it's shoveled out, it could mean a loss of a home or not. If you see code violations or concerns in your neighborhood, be sure to call the buildings department promptly. If you see any other problems, please call the PD immediately. It's important to lock your doors. Don't answer your door to strangers. And remember, if you see something, do something. And one word about our trip to Warwick. It was a great trip. Warwick is a community not unlike ours. They have similar kinds of buildings, and they had similar kinds of concerns. They were able to turn around Warwick to where I didn't see a vacant store. Did you see a vacant business? A lot of the older buildings that were in disrepair, and the mayor was nice enough to put out the before and after pictures for us. They've turned around some of these buildings or taken them down and replaced them with things that look old, that are not old. A dramatic difference in the town. Part of that was due to the architectural review process that they do, and the mayor mentioned that. We're going to look into a limited architectural review because it's done so much for that community that you can see our housing stock could benefit from it as well. And we could draw back the people that we're losing. We're losing a lot of people, and we're not gaining a lot of people. But we can turn this community around and make it what it once was, what people would like it to be. So I think that's one step. And the other step that they had that we're sort of lacking is that they had a lot of private investment. We don't have a lot of private investment. So as I asked for someone to run a camera, I'm asking for some private investors to come and knock on the mayor's door. We have some gorgeous buildings that need a little bit of work that could bring in some great income if they were done right, done for the right reason. There's no reason why Port Jervis can't look like Warwick. And with that, I think I will say adieu, Frank.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Mr. Oni?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Ritchie?
Thank you, Mayor. Stanley took away a lot of the thunder I had, but I did want to say something about it because that tour was really nice, and the mayor was gracious. As Stanley said, he put before and after pictures. Some of these buildings were, they have right as you enter the town, there's a big Dunkin' Donuts and a beer and cafe, and that used to be an auto body place. And just the right developer came in and he leveled the building, and he made two beautiful buildings, and so much so, and if you went to Warwick, the Dunkin' Donuts is so unique the way that they built it, that Dunkin' Donuts, they send people there to take pictures of their building now, and initially, they weren't in favor of building it in that conformity. So, you know, I think one of the biggest things he pushed was thinking outside the box. And I think we have to do that. I mean, we have this Whitewater Park coming in, hopefully, probably more probably than not. And then with that, it gives us a great opportunity to redevelop our downtown conducive to that Whitewater Park, and I think hiking and all that, all those things. So he also mentioned that not everybody's going to be happy with everything that's done, but they have something for everybody, and it was really impressive. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank our CDA Executive Director, Ms. Majinski, for setting that tour up. And the mayor of the town of Warwick, Mike Sweeten, wasn't available to attend, but the village mayor made it a point on how well they work together, in spite of the fact they're from opposite parties. And so Mike is going to visit Port Jervis here in the near future and follow up and sort of talk about the town's participation in the revitalization of the Warwick area. So look forward to that. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Revozo, old business?
No old business, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Cunningham.
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Belcher.
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Wogrowski.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Bell.
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Bell, new business.
Fourth Ward Neighborhood Watch will be on the 21st at 7 o'clock at Hose Ford. And Stan mentioned the fire hydrants. I'd like to thank my neighbor Richard Wildrick, who's out every snowstorm and shovels out the one across the street from him. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wogrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. I know a lot of you who read the Times Child record, you'll see, and I think yesterday or maybe in today's, that Mayor DeStefano in the city of Middletown is encouraging residents to have street lights out in your neighborhood. We pay for the street lights, so if you happen to have one out, I mean, I know historically the police department used to drive up and take the numbers down, whatever. But if you see a street light that's out, as far as Orange Rockland has a pole, light with a pole, take both. There's a top number and a bottom number. They call it, write it down. Either call down to the police department, DPW, or the mayor's office, and we'll make sure it gets forwarded on. The idea is to try to get some of these lights fixed, and they're starting to change them out with these new bulbs and stuff. They're a lot brighter and more efficient. That's the first thing. One thing before the next council meeting, January 23rd and 24th, the ASK Elementary 6th grade club, they are going to be performing Beauty and the Beast Junior. I highly recommend it, not because my daughter is part of the cast, but for a 5th and 6th grade program, it's phenomenal. Patricia Halpenny and her staff, it's unbelievable the time and the effort that they've put into this. Like I said, once again, 5th and 6th grade show, you think you're going to a Broadway play. So the show's time is 7 o'clock on Friday the 23rd, and 2 and 7 on Saturday the 24th. So if you can make that, that would be great. Other than that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Belcher.
Yeah, in connection with the resolution I read earlier on the Orange and Rockland rate increase, I just wanted to mention that I also wrote my own personal letter opposing the increase, and I sent emails out to 10 different cities and towns and also one city asking them to also oppose this rate increase. I've already received acknowledgments from the village of Otisville, town of Deer Park, that they have already done that and are going forward with notifying the commission. And I also received acknowledgments from 3 private citizens who also have written letters to the Public Service Commission opposing the increase. The Consumer Protection Board for the people of the state of New York was disbanded several years ago, and we have no protection. So the more involvement we get, written involvement and letters of opposition to the Public Service Commission, maybe not a denial. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And like he said, only three residents reported back to him that they've sent letters. It's very important that you send your letters in to the commissions, because if they hear from 3 people, it doesn't matter. You know, they hear from more. They hear a lot of people scream, "I don't want my rates going up 5% in electric and 16% in gas." That's what you need to do. You need to scream at the mountaintop. Mr. Cunningham.
Nothing there.
Mr. Bozo?
No new business, thank you.
Mr. Hendrick.
Although the regular meeting's moving right along, I have numerous things to request under executive sessions. We'll be here a while. Make a motion for executive session to include police contractual with both PBA and Humane Society, invite the chief. DPW contractual with regards to National Land Trust / stormwater application, invite Mr. Farr, Rivera, and Ms. Majinski. DPW personnel, Mr. Farr. Building Department personnel, invite Mr. Rivera. CDA contractual with regard to the executive director contract, invite Ms. Majinski. And city-owned property contractual, and again invite Ms. Majinski because it has a relation to the CDBG grant. And I made that motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick, second by Mr. Cunningham, to go into executive session, or for executive session. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Ritchie?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that January 27th at 7 p.m. we're having our second ward meeting. So 7 o'clock in the council chambers. And Mayor, I also have a resolution to read in the city of Port Jervis, New York, whereas Future Home Technology Incorporated has submitted documents together with Excel Homes of New York, LLC, concerning a sublease between Future Homes and Excel, along with the asset purchase agreement and addendum to 2011 pilot. And whereas Future Homes has made presentations to the City of Port Jervis Industrial Development Agency at prior IDA meetings by its council, and whereas the city has received the relevant documents, and whereas the city has previously approved by resolution at the November 24, 2014 and December 8, 2014 meetings, the addendum to 2011 pilot, and whereas Future Homes has since advised the city that it will redeem and pay off or has already redeemed the bond, and whereas upon review of the lease and the pilot, such actions require an additional amendment to the addendum to the 2011 pilot, and whereas the most recent addendum to pilot agreement is annexed here too as Exhibit A, and whereas the most addendum to pilot agreement is necessary to correct the omission in the prior version approved on December 8, 2014. Therefore, it is hereby resolved that the City of Port Jervis, by vote of the City Council, hereby consents to and approves the newest addendum to pilot agreement as annexed in this resolution, and I make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritchie, a second by Mr. Bell for resolution to addendum of the Future Homes Technology sublease. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oden.
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Siegel.
Thank you.
You're up.
When we were talking about Warwick, I got really excited about it, and I left, and I ran home, and I dug out downtown strategic plan that was done in 2003. We have it digitally copied. If anybody would like to see it, you're welcome to get a copy, or it's going to be on the webpage. But this is a head start.
I can't put it on the webpage because it's so big. It's a huge document.
Well, if anybody wants it, we could get it to them.
I could send it to him through Google Docs.
Yeah. But this is a good head start. It's full of documents. Actually, one of them is about the railroad yards. We're working out about the railroad, but it's an inventory of what we have, and it's an idea of what we can do. So we're one step ahead with this. So I'd like to thank all those people involved in 2003. Judy, you were one of them, for getting that done. to newer business. Many people don't know, but many people do know that the Meals on Wheels program has been modified as of the first of the year. It's a lot different than it was in 2014 and before. It's frozen meals, and there are a lot of concerns. There was one compliment, there were several negative comments, and there were some no comments. The program is missing some things they had before. For example, there is no emergency meal. People that would normally get it today did not get one previously. There was always one in the freezer, and they could heat it up. It's not there, and there's political BS on why it's not there. So I'll be looking into that. Talk to the mayor about it before I do what I'm going to do. But if people, well, I didn't do anything.
It's all right,
Just had conversations.
I've already talked to the county executive.
If you have concerns, you need to get them to the mayor, get them to me, get them to Kathy Shortell. They need to know about this program, because the program is there to help people. And if the people that don't want to be involved in it any longer get out of the program, they're going to lose an opportunity they shouldn't lose. So we'll fight for that program to be done either better, righter, whatever the words are. So make sure you contact the mayor's office, Kathy or myself. Kathy will tell you to go to Office of Aging, intake, which is a good idea, but we need to know too. Two people came to me about the sewer fee, and it was just stated earlier that if you do not have sewer, and several don't, to go fill out an affidavit so you don't have to get billed. I'll tell those two people that contacted me. If there's anybody else, please call the mayor's office or go to the city clerk. And there was an article in the paper today about something I didn't know. You cannot dispose of any electronic equipment, TVs, monitors, keyboards, or cables in regular garbage any longer. Any retailer that sells that stuff has to accept it in return, as well as Advanced Recovery, which is down in West End. So it's an effort to keep recycles out. It doesn't go in the yellow recycle cans either. It's an effort to keep the recyclables out of the landfills. It's a good idea. We'll probably see TVs and monitors laying along the street or something.
No, you can take that to the transfer station. I think they take one a day.
Yes.
Or you could take it to the transfer station.
Yeah. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know, but
Electronic?
I don't go there with it.
Advanced Recovery will take it too.
Yeah, I mentioned
Because they
it.
make
So,
money off.
keep that in mind, because it's a $250 fine even if you get caught putting in one little cable. And the cables, by the way, if you have that, you can put them on free cycle. I give out boxes of cables all the time to people on free cycle. Okay, enough said about that, and that's the end of my, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. So where do you get boxes of cables from?
Yeah.
I build computers,
You went on Advanced Recovery?
Off the poles.
All right, with that, we come back to our second public comment period, 3-minute limit on anything that we discussed here tonight. Anybody like to say anything? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session. Motion by Mr. Belcher, second by Mr. Ritchie. We go into executive session discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?